life serves you with what you're asking, with what you're telling it over and over, with every word and thought. You are creating the future that you will have. And I challenge any of your followers and your listeners, start changing and asking or telling what you want. Don't complain about what you have. Treat the future as if you could design it, and start talking about it and start thinking about what would be your heart's desire. Because when you can feel it, when you can enjoy it here, saying, "Oh, it's so exciting."
Hello, this is Crystal Meach with Tao of the Heart. And today I have guest Karen Thomas. Thank you so much for coming on today. And like always, I always dive right in. And today we're going to be talking about abundance. So, Karen, could you talk a little bit about what you know about abundance?
Well, abundance, I think, changes as you grow up and you learn things. At this point in my life, abundance is about just having the freedom to do what I want. When, being free to have enough joy, health, wealth to enjoy life and live life. And in creating abundance, so many of us used to struggle. We think we have to build it and we have to put our abundance together and make it work. And when I found that there's a better way to create abundance in my life, it has pretty much changed everything.
Okay. And could you talk maybe a little bit more about how you came to that realization?
Well, a lot of us pray. And a lot of us, say, what should I do? Well, the thing is we are closest to our higher power right before we go to bed. As we're drifting off and this conscious mind of ours that goes 90 miles an hour calms down, we actually have a gateway to that higher source. And asking the question, what's my next step? What should I focus on? Where should I go? Or I'd really like to experience more of this in my life. What should I pursue to do that? When I decided I wasn't wanting to struggle anymore when I hit 65, I said, what should I do? I started going to bed with this question. I need answers. What I'm doing is not working. What I'm doing and trying to create here online and to help my mom through her last season and be here and be of impact and of value is just not working. Higher power, source. What direction should I go? And I did this for, I want to say, about a week. And then I got a couple offers on some things. Some things started popping into my life. And I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. Okay. And with doing what came in, I started saying yes. I said, well, let me try that. They said, well, do you want to market this? And I said, well, I've never done that before. I'm game to try. That's been really a powerful way for me to stay home and make some extra income. I then got another, I want to say I read something and it talked about writing letters, that they were making income from their home, watching TV, writing these letters. And I'm going, writing letters? What would that all be about? And so I asked for the website. I asked for the information, and it said they gave it to me, and I said, $200, Lord, I've invested so many other money in trying to find things to work. I said, what's a couple more $100? If it works, great. If it doesn't, okay, I've learned that didn't work. And I was just amazed because this has been working and I don't have to struggle. I take a few hours, I write letters, but I do it in between helping my mom with the chores in the house and helping her get to her doctor's appointments. And in between the other things, I'm able to write these letters in the pockets of my time and bring in an extra $1,500, $2,000. The more time you have, the more you can write. But it was an amazing, and I thought, okay, source, universe, this higher power, when you ask, it does give it to you. Are you open enough to say?
Yeah, and so often we already have it in our life. It's a matter of receiving. And I think, could you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, the thing is we can have anything we want, but a lot of times our own limiting beliefs and our own energy gets in the way of us actually receiving it. Most people, they expect it to look a certain way. They figure if they ask God for more money or the source for more money or more this or better that, that it's just supposed to show up. But what actually happens is we have to become a different person to receive it. We have to change who we are in order for it to come into our life. So it's already here. It's just in the plane of not seeing it. And when we start changing our energy and changing how we think and being open to seeing what needs to change, then more of that starts appearing in our life. And that's what they call synchronicities, when things just happen. You know, when you say, oh, I'd like to have this, and all of a sudden, you know, that maybe you were thinking about a person. I haven't talked to that person in a while. And all of a sudden you get that phone call because you thought on that happening. Well, the same things that happen with people phone calling or getting green light can happen in your life when you start asking and then just believing and thinking on how good and what life would be like if you had that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw a person on a workshop, and they were telling the story about, they were called Mr. Lucky. And he said, I actually got this name, he says, because I would actually say, just my luck. I found a quarter. Just my luck. I got this. Just my luck. He says, what do most people say? They said, just my luck. I stubbed my toe. Just my luck. I lost that again. Just my luck. Why does this keep happening to me? And he just flips it and he says, just my luck. I get to have this. Just my luck. I'm on a podcast. Just my luck. When you start claiming, then those things start showing up.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to this regarding what's coming in my head right now is health. Like people, they might, like you mentioned, stubbing the toe and it hurts. Yeah. And you might feel that you're in pain, but you don't want to think about things getting worse. You want to think about perfect health. So people often think of like their sickness, like they want to get better or they want to get rid of cancer, but really you want perfect health. So in some ways, by saying, I want to get rid of the cancer, you're almost bringing more of it.
Absolutely, because you're dwelling on everything cancer. You're identifying with the cancer instead of saying, you know, just my luck, I have treatments that are going to eradicate this cancer. I am lucky that I live in a time that medical science can treat me and bring better health into me. We dwell on the symptoms and how bad we feel and how tired and how this causes this. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about in his book, You Are the Placebo, that you can change and turn off anything even in your DNA that they say you're hereditary to get. He says, when you think on the opposite, when you think that you are healthy and that that's not going to ever be a part of your life, you do not associate with it. He says, you turn off those markers in your DNA. We can change things on the cellular level by what we think up here.
Yeah, and that's in studies over and over again. And I know that there is one study that that's interesting that Brandy Gilmore always brings up about people with multiple personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And each personality, they have a different illness and diagnosis. So that proves that sickness truly does, it's truly driven by your personality.
It exists in the mind because each one of the different personalities has different foods that they like and they don't like, or things that make them sick that the other ones don't experience. And it does prove that our bodies change depending on how we think. And that is, you can either take that as being that you're stuck with what you have, or you can say, wow, my body can do all these wonderful things. All I have to do is change how I think about it, how I identify with it, how my mom who's 93, God bless her soul, she was raised in an era that she gets up and says, this is just not my best day. I said, Mom, then think about this day is getting better and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting and feeling better, better, and better. I said, when you talk about getting better, your body will get better. If you keep talking about how tired you are, then you're just going to stay tired.
Exactly.
And people don't understand, and this is where we get into the patterns of when something happens bad to us in the morning. Somebody cuts us off in traffic, something happens, and we come in and we start telling the story of what happened to us. We tell it over and over. Every new person we see in the day, we have to tell them about this thing that happened to us in the morning. So our bodies relive that event that only happened maybe for what, 3 minutes? You experience somebody cutting you off in traffic and it being uncomfortable or scary for that moment. But you put your body through that exact thing every time you relive it in telling the story. And that's the same thing with our health, our sickness. When we start talking over and over and over again about our experience with a disease or with a how we feel or with a headache or whatever, if we keep dwelling on it, then it keeps it held in the body.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting, like I do Reiki. I've been doing Reiki for a few years now, and someone can come in and I'll have an hour session with them. And one example I can think of recently, someone had plantar fasciitis.
Mm-hmm.
And so major pain in their foot. And at the end of the session, they could walk again, but it only lasted a few hours after the session. So could you maybe talk about implementing and embodying that belief so that, you truly do experience it more than a couple hours?
Any belief, they have proven that a belief is just something that is said over and over and over again. Every belief you have started from something being said, and you've heard it, you've repeated it, you've said it over and over and over again until you don't question it anymore. So the story, when somebody has pain and they're saying, oh, this feels real good, and then their mind starts saying, well, it's going to come back. It's going to start doing this. And so then you're going to have it. And so then those words and those memories of it hurting start cycling in their mind, and so it comes back. So how do you stop that? You have to tell your mind, because your thoughts are not you. You have to tell those thoughts to get
Exactly.
You have to say, no, I went through this treatment. This is going away. Every day it's going to get better and better. No, go away. You have to tell it. You have to take control of your mind. And I tell a lot of people, I grew up in scarcity. My mom was a teacher. She divorced my dad when I was very, very little, and we lived in a single parent household. And if you know teachers, they didn't make much money back then. They don't make much money now. And so I had a roof over my head, but I didn't have anything else. There was no allowance. There was no, the few extras we had were few and far between that she could actually put together. So I always felt not enough, or that I was less than the other kids. I didn't have the new clothes. I didn't have all of the other stuff the other kids had. Now in my 60s, I find that these things still repeat themselves, but in a different way now. I want to share these things, and in my body says, oh, no, everybody's heard that before. You're nobody special. You don't need to be doing this. So I found subliminals. Hey, listen, I have a YouTube channel that does subliminals to water trickling. It's just a little trickle of water, kind of like a little noise. But the subliminals are all on self-concept. How wonderful a person I am. Amazing. All the things about, because when they're subliminal, when they are so low, they get underneath our hearing, they go straight to the subconscious. And all that subconscious needs to change is to have repetition. That's the only way to change anything that happens. And it's not that it ever goes completely away. It just gets where it doesn't come up as often. And when you get good at telling that thought to go away, it changes. And I spend an hour to 2 hours every morning listening to that self-concept, because I want to start my day feeling powerful as a woman, as, a person going into this world out there that wants to tell me so many lies about me. Every time you turn around, they're saying, oh my God, this disaster is going to happen. This is shut down. This is happening. We're having shortages. And you are bombarded with all of this information about how bad things are.
But right now, in this moment, are things bad?
No, and that's it. And that's what I because I got my mom to quit listening to CNN. I said, how do you listen? She said, I got to know what's going on. I said, no, you don't. I said, you can't control any of it. All you're going to do is make yourself worry and sick, because they're going to lead you to believe that you're the disaster, the sky is falling. I said, when we take control and say, right this minute, everything's good. I just ate dinner. I have food. I have heat. I have lights. I have electricity. I have a computer. Everything is perfect right this minute.
Yeah, and that's that's the mindset of abundance. Like if you talk to millionaires, and I can think of one story that I love to give. It's this millionaire that I know, and he always said that he would go get gas and he would never spend $1 on a slushie because he wanted to save his money. And so that mindset is different than what 99% of the people on this earth have. He already had the money and he wanted to keep the money. So um it's kind of like rewiring your brain, like you're saying with the subliminals. Every time something is triggered, it's inside your brain that you get to decide what to do with that thought and that feeling.
Exactly. To change anything, it's just a matter of repetition. So I spend my whole morning. I quit listening to the news, I want to say 4 decades ago. I quit listening to the radio because of the talk in between the music. And then when I started realizing some of the words and all of the music that we sing along to, I'm going, wait a minute, why am I singing that? I don't want to be lonely and broke up. I don't want, when we start singing these songs, I said, words are powerful. They're full of energy that goes out, and we bring back to us. It circles back whatever we're putting out. That's what's going to come back to us. I don't want any of that.
Hmm.
So what do you want? I mean, this is where the abundance comes from. Is when you start speaking, wouldn't it be so wonderful to have new red Tesla in my driveway? I can't wait to have my bright red new Tesla in my driveway. So I talk about having my new red Tesla.
Yeah, and how would it feel to drive that Tesla?
Most people that talk about how they manifest stuff and things that come into their life. I had somebody who talked about wanting a Ferrari, and they got a video on it, how it looked to drive it, how it felt. They went and sat in the Ferrari in the dealership, and they put themselves in this Ferrari, and they said they did this for like 6 months. And when they got it, somebody asked him, how's it feel? Now you got your Ferrari. And he goes, I've had my Ferrari for 6 months. What are you talking about? This is just a continuation of what I've already had and enjoyed for 6 months. It just now became real in my world. It was already real up here and in my visualizations of me enjoying having this car.
Yeah, and you're bringing up a very good point here, because what you naturally have right now in your life, that's a result, and you can change it, like you said, by getting the Ferrari, but you can train your subconscious mind to be successful, abundant, even though you maybe don't feel that way. It's all about seeing yourself there, like the feeling that you'll have once you have it. And the more you can live in that feeling, Neville Goddard, Joe Dispenza, they all talk about that.
They do. Even, I don't know if you're familiar even with Tom Campbell. Tom Campbell wrote a book called My Big Toe, and he talks about that there's as much data that we had for evolution, that there's now as much data or more on all of this being a virtual reality. And they're now proving that we can influence, by the way we think, things, the outcomes of things. What if you actually decided that your subconscious, you decided that your thinking was the genie in the bottle? What if you decided that you trusted your subconscious to bring you everything? Because that is the energy. We have so much energy. There's a machine that when it takes a picture of our body, it shows our energy going out like 3 or 4 feet, 5 feet on each side of us. Our energy goes all the way out. And this is all coming from the inside of us. And our subconscious is the orchestrator of this energy going out. And when you start thinking on the things that you want, and you start thinking about the life you want to live, and you start putting those seeds out there, the subconscious starts putting into place the energy and the synchronicities and the things that will come about to make that happen. So I now tell it it's my genie in the bottle, because I start putting out there, we have an idea for Mom's transition. She's already said she doesn't want to be ill. She has a few health issues, but her idea that she has in her mind of how she's going to go is just not waking up one day. So when I can't hear her, I sneak to the edge of the room and I listen to see if I can hear her. I can see her chest going up and down because I'm expecting that to happen. This is what she wants, and this is where I'm sure this is what she's going to create for her life because where we think and what we do. If you are worried about getting cancer, if you're worried about having anything go wrong in your life, I tell my daughter, who's normally a big worry wart, I said, quit praying for what you don't want to happen. Because when you worry about it, when you think on what if, oh my God, this, then you are bringing that kind of energy into your life in all of the forms of what can go wrong.
Exactly. Is there anything else you'd like to let my viewers know?
The biggest thing I'd like them to know is that we are not meant to struggle for our abundance. It's not a matter of not having to do anything. We don't get to sit and just do nothing and life take care of us. All of the animals have to go out and eat something, but we can have all the abundance and be taken care of in our life by asking the question, how can we serve? What is our superpower? What are we good at that we can give out to the universe to empower other people, to help other people that can be rewarded to us in money, income, joy, happiness? The abundance is not just in one area of life. It's in all areas of life. And I tell people, money doesn't have to come in the dollars and cents in your checking account. Your checking account has nothing to do with who you are. But if a friend takes you out to lunch and says, hey, we haven't seen each other, let me take you out to lunch, isn't that like having $20, $30 given to you? Because they're taking you out to lunch, they're feeding you, and they're providing something for you. And in exchange, you're giving them company and camaraderie. So abundance and money all comes in all different forms if you're able to see and be thankful for each and every area that it comes in. Because with my writing letters, I bless them every day that they come back more abundant to me, and they do.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for being grateful for everything in your life, even the things that maybe you you don't see as grateful in the moment, and it really opens your world, I'll say.
If you want more money, be thankful for your money. Be grateful for it. I find pennies. I pick up pennies on the ground and I start affirming that every time I pay something, I buy something, or somebody pays me for something, I am grateful for my money. Because if you want more tangible money, then you have to love your money. You cannot be hateful about your job. You can't be hateful and being, what's the word I'm looking for?
Resentful,
exactly. If you say, oh God, I hate my job, I can't, more people die on Monday mornings because I hate to go to work, I hate to get up. Well, more people die at 9:00 on Monday mornings than at any other day or time of the day. It's statistically proven. You all can Google it.
oh my goodness, I've never heard that.
Because people hate it. And they've correlated breast cancer with women who can't say no.
Really?
Yeah, because a woman who can't say no, who wants to please everybody, people pleasers, inside their head they go, oh my God, I have to do this. But yet on the outside they're going, yeah, inside, oh, I don't want to do that. And it's contrary, and their body will finally get where it will break down and give them a reason that they truly can't.
Yeah, and you saying that is so interesting because what your body's doing, it's still serving you.
It is. It's fulfilling that request that you don't want to do. You don't want to go to work, so you'll get sick and you can't work, or you will die before you get to work. Your body, life serves you with what you're asking, with what you're telling it over and over, with every word and thought. You are creating the future that you will have. And I challenge any of your followers and your listeners, start changing and asking or telling what you want. Don't complain about what you have. Treat the future as if you could design it, and start talking about it, and start thinking about what would be your heart's desire, what would be so interesting to enjoy. Because when you can feel it, when you can enjoy it here, saying, "Oh, it's so exciting." And what is that? What can you do? What little steps can you do, taking yourself towards that goal? Not
Mhm.
just waiting for life to say, "Voila!" But if you want something, what would it take for you to get to that? Start breaking it up and start telling the universe, "Well, I think I would need to do this, this, and this." That it will start creating the.
Yeah, there's that. And also, like when you mentioned CNN and all these ways that people want to take your power away, I always think,
Absolutely.
they wouldn't be doing that if you didn't have the power to begin with. They wouldn't be challenging you if you didn't have that power. They wouldn't be trying to take it away because they'd know it wasn't there. So,
Well, the thing is the secret societies, which run all of these pharmaceuticals, all of your high positions are run by people who have been members of the secret societies who aren't so secret. But what they teach, they've tried to keep secret. And what they try to keep secret is the power of your thinking. Because when you can control people and keep them in fear, what they know, as long as people stay in fear, they can control them. And if they can control them, then they can make them do anything they want. They don't care about your happiness. They care about what they get and the power that they keep. But the secret is all about the self mastery, the living in the now, not the past, and saying, "Oh, that would be nice for the future," and talk on the future, but take out anything in your thinking that says, "I'm not enough, I don't deserve it, I'm not worthy." Anything that does not say that you're absolutely amazing, that you are absolutely the bomb, that you are absolutely worthy, is the lie that keeps you.
yeah, and I guess I'm just thinking of the movie Kung Fu Panda. I think it's the second one where he says, "It doesn't matter in the past, it's who I choose to be now."
Exactly.
And, you can meditate for months on that, but it's, right here, right now, in this moment, you have all the power that you'll ever
You have all
need.
your happiness. You choose how you want to feel.
Exactly.
I went back because I love Dr. Joseph Murphy. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love some of the masters, Wayne Dwyer. And I thought, here we have all these men, and men think very differently than us women. And I thought, what? How wouldn't it be nice to have women who spoke on these things? Well, when I went back to find out, well, where did Dr. Murphy learn this, and where did so and so learn this? You can trace back the teachings to Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman. And she was in 1926. She wrote, one of her books was How to Play the Game of Life. And you don't hear much about her, but she pretty much started the whole era of this thinking. They call it the New Age, the New Age thinking. But religion was designed to keep people uniformed and controlled. Not to say that religion doesn't have a lot of wonderful stuff, but the original texts of all of your religious books, not all the translations, not all of the gobbledygook that has been written in other people's assumptions, those texts are very, very powerful in their utterance of the power that is within us. It speaks about all of it being within us.
Yeah, yeah. When you go back, like I can just speak to the Hebrew text, and there's two types of Hebrew. There's the Assyrian, the modern Hebrew, has the little dots um, on the alphabet, and then before that was the I think it's called Ancient Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew,
Right?
where it's like in picture form.
Okay.
And when you look at that versus the translation, that's where things get lost.
It is. It truly is.
It's like a completely different text when you look at the two next to each.
That and the thing is each person that's doing the translation is taking their own. I won't say baggage is the right word, but their own history, their own interpretation of what those words could mean. And it's so interesting because their attitudes about everything influence how they translate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not really getting holy words anymore. And I truly believe there's a lot of holy words written with modern names to them. I believe there's a lot of very inspired writing. Everything Dr. Joe Dispenza has written on and does, I feel is a true gift of the higher power.
Mm-hmm.
He is a doctor and he is looking for science, trying to find how to unlock that connection to that inner power within us. But if you look at when people have a desire to empower people, that is where your truth is, not the people who want to control it.
Yeah. Definitely there is your truth, and your truth can change as you change your consciousness, for sure.
Well, when we know better, we do better. At least we should.
Yeah.
I've learned a whole lot better in my pushing 70 years here, and I wish I'd known a whole lot of this back when I was raising my girls, because I could have raised and helped them be even better than they are. And they're a lot more comfortable in their own skins than I ever was at their age.
Yeah.
The blessing that I have is my mom's 93 and still pretty perky. I still got 20, 30 years that I can start working at bringing people into more abundance and joy, because we are not here to struggle. We are not here to be destitute and unhappy.
So if someone wants to contact you, how can they?
Well, my website is abetterlifeisachoice.com. So that you can find me on Facebook. I am Karen Anderson Thomas. But the easiest way is abetterlifeisachoice.com. That gives you how to contact me, gives you all of the areas that solutions that I am offering for people to create independence and abundance in their life. So that is the best way. And that is like the letter A, and then better life is a choice. Just put it all together and put a .com on the end.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on, Karen.
You are a pleasure. I love what you are doing, and this is so important that more people are speaking on how powerful they are.
Just like you. So
Me, you, all of us.
You can contact me. We both met on the OWL app.
That's it. Owl, come see us on Owl. We talk one-on-one. That is the greatest way to meet people. We are the sum of who we hang around. And I up-leveled who I hang around on Owl. OWWLL. That's where I met Crystal. She is phenomenal. I have met so many great people, and I'm so very thankful to be on Owl.
Me too. I love that you can connect immediately on OWL, and you can give reviews, you can put a profile up, and there's also the safety factor that you don't have to give out your phone number or personal information. So
you don't have to. No, but a lot of us do, because me and Crystal, we just fell in love with each other and talking about all this good stuff.
Exactly. All right.
And I look forward to being in Crystal's world for the rest of my thing, because when you meet good people, you don't let them go.
That's right. I definitely believe that there's a higher power that brought us together. And I would love to have you on my show again.
Anytime, girl. I'm here and available, until Mom transitions. When Mom transitions, then I'm going to hopefully be a person who meanders.
A nomad?
A nomad. I'm going to be a nomad for a little while. I want to buy one of those smaller travel homes, and I want to work from anywhere, and I want to go see this beautiful world and meet in person a lot of these wonderful people I get to talk to on Zoom, in my communities that I'm in, on OWL. I want to go meet people in person and hug them and be as physical as in person sometimes as I can be on here.
Awesome. That's a beautiful dream. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.